Now at 9, with the cold temps arriving in the 4 states, we've got advice to help you protect your pipes.
I spoke to a local vet about how to keep animals safe during the cold temperatures during the winter. I'm Melissa Alexis, and I'll have that story coming up.
A historic home in Joplin is renovated to honor one of the city's most famous athletes. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, the new year could bring some potentially dangerous weather. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Now, the chance of accumulating ice and snow later this weekend is expected to impact much of our area. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a look at what we can expect.
Yeah, we're tracking a storm system which is going to be moving in as we head into the weekend. Now, for us, majority of the system is going to be rain, but we are going to get some wintry weather from it, so we got to keep our eyes on it. Now, ahead of it, today was pretty good. 50 is where we started. 45 is our average high. If we go outside right now, we're sitting 40, 42-ish degrees, and we're going to cool off. We have a cold front. You can see the wind switching out of the north, ushering in some cooler air. So eventually, we'll drop back into the mid-20s. All right, so all this mess will start on Saturday. I don't think a whole bunch is going to happen Saturday. May get a little bit of freezing drizzle for a short period of time. Shouldn't be a big deal because we warm above freezing. And most of the day Saturday, it's drizzle. But Saturday night, showers and even thunderstorms start to really get going. And then some snow by Sunday. So, of course, we're going to break this all down for you here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, winter is underway, and with falling temperatures expected in the next couple of days, it's a good idea to keep an eye on those pipes if you want to stay warm and keep money in your pocket. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more.
First of all, to let the water trickle.
Christy Barnhart is the Senior Communications Manager at Missouri American Water. Although there's always a possibility of a busted pipe, Barnhart says there are ways to prevent it.
The first thing we encourage customers to know is the location of their shutoff valve. So in the event that pipes do burst, they can shut the water off quickly.
Now, you may think you're saving money by leaving that water faucet off, but if your pipes happen to burst, professionals say it can be a lot worse.
The cost of about a gallon of water is around a penny, and if you compare that versus what a water bill could be for a month if your pipes burst, there's really no comparison.
But how long should you leave the water running?
Overnight is the best time to let the water, trickle to keep the water flowing through the pipes, which prevents the freezing.
And another way to stop bursting pipes is to keep them warm.
Keeping pipes exposed to warm air, whether that be opening cabinet doors, using heat tape to wrap the pipes.
And speaking of heat tape, John Hickle, owner of Ace Hardware, is fully stocked and ready for his customers who want to get prepared.
Yeah, we're ready to go, and we have a lot in stock now, and then we get freight Monday morning, so we'll be loaded.
And he says that's not all. You should have all your ducks in a row, just in case.
Make sure your car's ready. Make sure you have windshield wiper fluid and de-icer.
And one more thing, Barnhart says she wants her customers to know to never open the meter lid.
When they open the meter lid and expose that meter to the cold air, it can cause the meter to freeze, which just then compounds the problem.
Barnhart says you don't get much warning about pipes bursting until it's too late. But she says when the temps drop for a few days, you should be mindful of your actions. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Barnhart also wants to emphasize the pipes inside your home are your responsibility, not the Missouri American Water's. Well, another essential area of winter preparation is your vehicle, and some simple ways to keep yourself and your vehicle safe are to make sure your tires have good tread and are properly inflated. Have your battery checked by a professional, and make sure your gas tank is at least half full to avoid a gas line freeze-up. We'll have more information on getting your vehicle winter ready on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The Missouri Highway Patrol releases its annual New Year's Eve traffic crash report. Troopers reported 0 vehicle fatalities over the holiday eve. That was out of 44 traffic crashes, 21 traffic injuries, and 50 DWIs. The numbers reflect a 30-hour counting period from 6 p.m. on Tuesday night to 11:59 Wednesday night. There were no boating crashes or drownings during this year's holiday counting period. And the Kansas Highway Patrol also releases its annual New Year's Eve traffic crash report. Troopers reported one non-DUI related fatal crash over the holiday eve. They also reported 12 DUI arrests in addition to 286 citations for speeding. The numbers reflect the same counting period as the Missouri Highway Patrol. Well, winter is coming along with dangerous cold temperatures, and these temps can be difficult for both people and for pets. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to a local veterinarian about how to keep your pets safe.
Brandy Shipley has raised Great Danes for as long as she can remember. It's something she learned from her father.
I have always had a love for dogs.
And as the seasons change, she's keeping her pet's safety on her mind.
It's very cold outside, and especially I hear we're supposed to get some wonderful weather coming up.
Cold temperatures can be hard on humans, but they can also be really brutal on our four-legged friends.
Outside pets that don't have carpet, heat in there, those things, you need to make sure you check on them, or they have straw in there or something to keep them warm.
And veterinarian Curtis L. Gregory at Columbus Veterinary Clinic says a pet's lungs are more vulnerable to the cold air than humans.
You take those animals and tell them to go outside to the bathroom when it's below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, their airways just tighten up. So they can, as a result, get low blood pressure going to their brain because we're not pumping good warm air through the rest of the body. Their muscles can cramp up.
He says to make sure outside water bowls don't freeze over, as it can lead to dehydration. He says heated water bowls can help prevent this.
Make sure that they do have open water all the time, and you want to use the heated bowls. It is nice to make sure that they, for one, don't get too hot, and for two, that they don't have a short in them.
Another thing to look out for are pets curling up under your car to stay warm.
Animals always like to get underneath their vehicles, or kittens underneath the hood of your cars or whatever. So a good thing would be to make sure you check or start your car and give it a few minutes to warm up in case there's any animals underneath it there.
Dr. Gregory says while it's important to keep your pet's safety in mind, it's also important to let them go outside and have fun.
Pets got to be pets and play like they want to. It's just a matter of taking into consideration what's good or best for their health.
Reporting in Columbus, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association, some people believe pets are resistant to the cold because of their fur, but this isn't always true, and both cats and dogs are susceptible to frostbite and hypothermia. Well, coming up, the next generation starts now.
The new year is bringing with it a whole new generation. I'm Chandler Painter with a look at Gen Beta. All that and much more coming up.
And later, a new high-tech tool is helping Florida prepare for future disasters. How AI could change emergency alerts forever.
Join us for comics, cosplay, and fun.
3 stories of the week. Join us at 7 a.m.
Mercy Joplin welcomes its first baby of the new year. Riella Miles entered the world at 1:58 p.m. on January 1st. Not to be outdone, Mercy Pittsburgh announced its first baby of the new year as well. Deasia Jackson made her debut at 2:46 in the afternoon, also on the 1st. Babies born in the new year and in the next 14 years will make up Generation Beta. Now, this new generation is one that tech experts say will most likely have a bulk of their lives heavily impacted by artificial intelligence. But with the parents of these children having their own complex relationships with cell phones and social media, there could be some cause for concern. Fox News correspondent Chandler Painter reports.
This New Year's Day, U.S. Census Bureau data estimates the world population will be more than 8 billion people, with one baby expected to be born every 9 seconds in the U.S. throughout January 2025. And in an exciting turn of events, babies born this year and over the next 14 years will make up Generation Beta. It's the newest generation many technology experts predict will grow up with artificial intelligence in every aspect of their lives. And while it may be an exciting new frontier, those in Generation Beta will mostly be the kids of younger millennials and older Gen Zers. But according to educators currently working with Gen Z students, many report suffering negative consequences from frequent social media use.
They do see their community as having a lot of anxiety They do see higher rates of depression.
Michelle Burke of the Stevens Institute of Technology says many of the students she teaches want to explore the impacts of growing up with cell phones.
And they do see struggles in that particular arena. They really want to understand why.
Compared to how their parents were with them, when asked if they would be as strict, more strict, or less strict with their children's technology use, the responses from Burke's students were sobering.
About half of them say they would be more strict. About half say about the same, and I've never ever had a student say they would be less strict.
Meanwhile, the technology Jim Beta may get to use could be quite futuristic, with many expected to live into the 22nd century. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
It's kind of hard to believe. Well, leaders at the National Institutes of Health are calling for more action on bird flu. The agency says dozens of people in the U.S. contracted bird flu in 2024. A study of those cases shows symptoms were mild. However, scientists are concerned about a case in Canada where a teen became seriously ill. In that case, the teen's heart, lungs, and kidneys failed, but she recovered after nearly 2 weeks in the hospital. Researchers are concerned the virus, which comes from wild birds, may be adapting to people, and that could increase the possibility of a person-to-person spread. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later Ford issues a recall for hundreds of thousands of trucks. What drivers need to know about a potential safety risk.
The Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, home of Connect-A-Culture and Spivus Center for the Arts.
Well, it turned out to be a chilly Thursday for us today. Lower 40s for afternoon highs, but it's going to be much colder as we get into the second half of the weekend. Right now, it looks okay. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam, downtown Joplin. All right, so we've had some showers upstairs kind of push through, a couple little sprinkles, but not a big deal. We have a weak little wave that is shifting off toward the east, produce some snow through parts of Illinois into Indiana. But our next storm system is just now starting to move into the Pacific Northwest. So once it gets inland, then we're going to get a really good idea of where this storm system is going to track as we go into the weekend. So first off, let's go into your Friday. Cold start. We have clouds now, partly cloudy skies to start. We'll be down into the mid-20s, so a little bit colder. But sunshine through the morning hours, upper 30s to near 40. I think most of us 41, 42, 43 degrees for an afternoon high. So not a bad Friday. Tomorrow night, clouds increase. So we get cloudy skies across the region. So here's Saturday morning. As we go through the morning hours, a little bit of freezing drizzle is possible, especially Kansas into west central Missouri. However, it shouldn't be a big deal because our temperatures are going to rise above freezing as we go through the morning hours. So here's about the noon hour. Drizzle increases as we go through the day. Temperatures mid to upper 30s to lower 40s. Once we get into Saturday evening, showers start popping up. So a lot more numerous showers, even some thunderstorms across the region. So here's midnight, Saturday night. Rain across the region. A little bit of freezing rain in our very far northern counties, Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, over towards Stockton. Showers, thunderstorms continue into Sunday morning, freezing rain, far northern counties. So most of us just rain. As we continue into Sunday morning, we'll start to see the colder air filtering back in, and that will allow us to do a changeover from rain over to snow. So by Sunday afternoon, still rain in Joplin. Then we switch over to a band of light snow as we get into the afternoon. Now, temperatures are going to drop rapidly through the 20s. Very windy, so it's going to blow around, but it will stick to everything because our temperatures are going to be so cold. All right, ice accumulations, I'm not too concerned for us. Our northern counties may get some freezing rain accumulations that we got to keep our eyes on. Snowfall, because we only get that back band, we'll have to see exactly how much it can produce, but it looks like it will be 2 inches or less. So not a big snow for us, but if you're traveling north, that's where the bigger problems are going to be. 42 on Friday, 39 drizzle on Saturday, 45 on alert day for rain to snow on Sunday, and then bitterly cold as we go into next week.
So the big day to watch where you may want to hunker down would be Sunday.
Sunday it would be, yes.
All right, we'll keep that in mind.
All right.
Thanks, Doug. Well, it's not just Christmas trees in living rooms coming down. Volunteers in Joplin turned out today to help take down decorations in the city's Spiva Park. People helped unwrap lights and coil them up for next year, as well as teamed up to take down the bigger pieces. Event organizers provided hot chocolate to keep everyone warm. Still to come, an explosion outside a Las Vegas hotel sparks a terrorism investigation and possible connections to another attack.
Join us for comics, cosplay, and fun at ArtCon February 1st.
Hero Fund USA and KOAM News Now supporting the 4 states' first responders.
Hundreds of Americans lost their lives this past Atlantic hurricane season, but now there's a new AI solution which could help bring those numbers down next year. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
The 2024 hurricane season was one of the most destructive on record. Francine, Helene, and Milton killed more than 250 people and caused billions in damages. And now the state of Florida is partnering with the tech company Futury to mitigate future losses, integrating AI tech with traditional broadcasting, ensuring folks have 24/7 access to critical information.
Today's emergency alert systems do a good job of short bursts of information just in time, but what's missing is extensive information about preparedness and recovery.
It's called Beacon, and its goal is to provide a unified, consistent message across all platforms by automatically recording and sorting public safety information and then distributing it to traditional TV and radio, in addition to streaming it online and via Beacon's mobile app, even translating it into different languages based on local needs.
Ultimately, artificial intelligence became an important part of our technology solution because we needed a way to automatically capture content, prioritize it, and localize it.
Beacon is currently being used by Florida's Division of Emergency Management in the Gainesville area, and if all goes well here in Florida, it could be rolled out nationwide, even used for non-weather emergencies.
It's also built to work on any other type of disaster or critical information, critical situation where information is needed by the public.
Now, those emergency alerts can save lives. Out of all of the Florida counties that reported deaths during Hurricane Helene, only a third sent out alerts. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vehicle's fuel pumps may fail and cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash. Ford says so far it is unaware of any accidents or injuries caused by the issue. Owners of the recalled vehicles can get a free repair at Ford dealerships. Well, coming up, new questions emerge after a deadly terror attack in New Orleans and a potential link to an explosion in Las Vegas. Details ahead.
Hey, 4 States, Jack Frost here with Roper Kia, dealer for the peace.
What began as a passion for anime in their teenage years has now evolved into a gathering of adults who come together to watch the latest shows at the Joplin Public Library. And tonight, the library hosted an anime manga hangout for grown-ups event. Organizers say activities like this provide an opportunity for those interested to connect with others and enjoy the culture.
So this started because we have a version of this for in the teen department for teens, and it was really popular. They still host it every month, and we had teens that were aging out of that program that were, not teenagers anymore. So we began to get requests for an adult version.
The library will host more gatherings for anime and manga lovers on February 6th and March 6th. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. New details in the Las Vegas explosion. Authorities identify the suspect and uncover possible links to another New Year's Day attack. Plus, a crucial vote looms as Congress prepares to gavel in, with House Speaker Mike Johnson facing growing opposition from within his own party.
The Big Bang Theory.
You're watching the 4 States' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Tanya Bach. We're learning more about the suspect who parked a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas before it exploded on New Year's Day. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
A massive explosion on New Year's Day outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. The bed of that Cybertruck was loaded with gas containers and fireworks. Investigators now believe the man inside the car was Matthew Livelsberger, an Army Green Beret who was on leave from duty overseas.
The individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle.
Las Vegas police showed new evidence like photo IDs belonging to Livelsberger and video of the Cybertruck driving on Las Vegas Boulevard. There were also 2 guns in the car bought legally by Livelsberger Monday.
Looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our #1 priority.
Police have mapped out the trip the truck made from Colorado and have photos of the suspect along the way.
We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case.
The FBI searched a home connected to the suspect in Colorado Springs. Investigators say the truck was rented in Denver using the Turo app. That's the same app used by New Orleans terror suspect Shamsu Din Jabbar, who drove a rented truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street hours earlier. Jabbar also spent time in the Army. But the FBI says right now there is no definitive link between the 2 situations, and both men acted alone.
If these turn out to be simply similarities, very strange similarities to have, and so we're not prepared to rule in or rule out anything at this point.
Police say both Jabbar and Livelsberger served at Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg, but did not overlap. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are reacting to the deadly New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans, where the pickup truck rammed into a crowd, killing at least 14. Now, the FBI says a U.S. Army veteran, Shamsu Din Jabbar, acted alone, but questions remain about how he was radicalized. An ISIS flag was found in his truck. Investigators are still examining if this event and that recent Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump Hotel are linked. And now Congress is demanding answers, with some calling for top security officials to testify about how the attack happened. The House and Senate are set to meet for a joint session of Congress on January 6th. But if the House does not vote for a speaker on Friday, that session might not happen. Chad Pergram has more from Capitol Hill.
The 119th Congress is set to begin Friday, but the House of Representatives can't function until members elect a speaker.
President Trump is the coach. He asked for Speaker Johnson to remain the speaker, and we should listen to the coach and go about enacting the play.
Incumbent House Speaker Mike Johnson is on the ballot, but his road to re-election could face challenges.
Speaker Johnson is not able to govern and is not actually willing to commit to do his constitutional duty. We have a Titanic on the crash course with the iceberg, and our country fiscally is going to have a disaster.
Republicans have a razor-thin majority in the House. Just a few no's from Republicans could put Johnson's grasp on the gavel at risk.
It's a numbers game. We have the smallest margin in U.S. history. We'll have a margin of probably 2 votes tomorrow during that, so can only afford to lose 1 or 2. But I think we'll get it done.
Since Johnson's tenure began, some House Republicans have been disappointed with his decisions. Fox has told more than 10 conservatives could vote for someone else.
So we have to all come together and get on board here with President Trump and the America First agenda.
And with Democrats most likely voting for Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker, we could see another protracted leadership fight when the voting starts. If Johnson does not get enough votes, the House must proceed to a second ballot. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, a new comedy takes military life to a whole new level. Fox's Going Dutch follows the hilarious misadventures of an Army colonel and his unexpected commanding officer.
13 months. The Center for the Arts.
Well, of course, chilly for us today. High temperatures only into lower 40s, but it's the beginning of January. Looks good out there right now. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. Of course, we are looking in downtown Joplin. Weak little wave pushing through. A lot of this is not reaching the ground. A couple sprinkles, not a big deal. Next storm system pushing into the Pacific Northwest. This is our storm system that will really change our weather up as we head into the weekend. First off, let's go through Friday. Partly cloudy skies, cold start, mid-20s during the morning hours. Sunshine through the morning, mid to upper 30s by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, we'll stop. 3:30 in the afternoon, 41, 42, 43 degrees, so not bad. Clouds increase tomorrow night into Saturday morning. As we go through Saturday morning, temperatures rise, but we're going to get some drizzle. So our northern half could get a little bit of freezing drizzle. If we do see that, it's not going to be a big deal because temperatures continue to go up as we go through Saturday afternoon. So by the mid-afternoon, yeah, still drizzle, but we're not going to have anything frozen. As we get into Saturday evening, showers starting to pick up, and then we get showers and thunderstorms after midnight. So here's midnight. Now watch our northern counties, Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada. You will be seeing freezing rain, so you will have the worst roads across the region. Everybody else just getting rain. In fact, temperatures continue to warm all the way into Sunday morning, periods of showers and even some thunderstorms. Here's 7 a.m., temperatures starting to drop in our northwestern counties. So on Sunday, most of us rain through the morning, but once we get into the afternoon, temperatures sharply drop through the 30s, through the 20s, and we get a band of light snow. Very windy, very cold, so whatever snow we get, it will stick. It's just going to be light, and it's not going to last long. It'll be out of here by 9 or 10 p.m. on Sunday evening. And then look at the cold. So by Monday afternoon, high temps only into the upper 20s because there's going to be a real thick snowpack to our north. Those winds blowing right off that real thick snowpack. And then by Tuesday morning, we drop all the way down, lower teens, upper single digits. So it gets much, much colder. All right, ice potential. Really only concerned about our northern counties, maybe a quarter of an inch, so that could cause a few issues. Snow potential. That back band, I think, will give us an inch, maybe 2 inches. So let's say most of us under 2 inches of snow. Road impacts, yeah, because it's going to be so cold. Anything that does fall will stick to the ground, but it does not look like we're going to see heavy amounts of snow, which is good. Most of us under 2 inches. 42 tomorrow, 39 Saturday, drizzle. 45, but dropping on Sunday. And then look at this. Highs in the 20s and 30s all of next week.
Okay, well.
Gets colder.
Yeah, it does. I don't think I'm ready for the cold. Not that cold. I don't want a long stretch of it. That's the thing.
It's fine.
I like the roller coaster where you just get it for a day and then it disappears.
I get it.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, as the possibility of winter weather nears, we do want to remind school, government, and church officials to test their KOAM closings login. You can find that information and more by scanning the QR code on your screen or going to KOAMnewsnow.com/closings. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern begins to look for a new volleyball head coach. Plus, Pittsburgh State basketball returns from its holiday break. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Nominate your four-state hero today.
Risk their lives by entering a massive barn fire to save the homeowners. Plus, Shannon shares his big 3 stories of the week. Join us at 7 a.m.
After going a couple of weeks without any games over the holidays, Pittsburgh State men's and women's basketball both return to action tonight at home. Pitt State is playing in its first home game since early December. The Gorillas host Arkansas Fort Smith. We get things started in the first quarter. Grace Pyle drains the 3. She scores 20 tonight and also passes her head coach Amanda David on the all-time scoring list. Later in the half, Corinna Gerber goes to work in the paint, gets the tough bucket there. Next possession, Clara Swearingen finds Gerber inside, and PSU builds a 7-point lead at halftime. Over to the second half, more from Corinna Gerber. Her impressive night continues. She gets the layup plus the foul right here. Then Gerber double teams, but it doesn't matter. She finds a way to score. How about one more for you? Harper Schreiner finds Gerber for another 2 points. Huge game by her. Gerber scores a career-high 35 points tonight. Pitt State goes on to throttle Fort Smith 91-71 the final.
I thought my teammates they give me the ball well and they know how to find me. So really, I can't do anything without them. And shooting a lot of free throws, that's where I like to get a lot of my points. But we usually don't come out then in the new year with an MIAA team, and so we really had to lock in for this one. But I was happy with our team performance. It was good.
Over to the men's side, Pitt State also playing host to Arkansas Fort Smith. First points of the night belong to Avery Taggart. He buries the three from the top of the key. Next possession, here he is again. Taggart drains another one from beyond the arc. The Missouri Southern transfer scores 12 points this evening. Still in the first, RJ Forney fires from downtown, and he connects for 3 points. Now, not long after that, Forney hits a mid-range jumper here, and Pitt State rolling in the first half, up by 18 points. We continue a little later on. PSU finds a way to get the ball into Tane Prichter, and he uses his size to get the big-time throwdown. Next possession, Prichter again sends it home on the alley-oop. Pitt State handles business at home. The Gorillas go on to win this one 70-59. Well, for the second consecutive offseason, the Joplin Outlaws announced some changes within their front office. Last year, Nick Weisenborn was the team's general manager. He then moved on to a new role with the league office this fall. And today, the Joplin Outlaws introduce Brian Flynn as their next team owner and president of baseball operations. Now, he's a former professional baseball player, originally from Tulsa. Flynn was drafted by the Detroit Tigers in 2011, and he spent 3 seasons as a pitcher with the Kansas City Royals from 2016 to 2019. In a release from the Outlaws on social media, Flynn stated that some of his favorite baseball memories came from collegiate summer teams, and went on to say, quote, "I'm excited to bring Outlaws fans top-tier summer entertainment and create unforgettable memories for our entire community." Some more news out of Joplin this afternoon. Missouri Southern volleyball head coach Kelly Carlisle is resigning from her position after 7 seasons of leading the Lions program. In that time, Southern accumulated a record of 61 and 135, including a 35 and 87 mark against MIAA opponents. According to a release from Southern Athletics, former assistant Joshua Moore has been the acting head coach since October. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
Today marks the ribbon cutting of a memorabilia house honoring one of Joplin's most famous athletes. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on who Irish Johnny Copeland is and the work that has been done to highlight his legacy.
If you've driven down 4th Street in Joplin, you might have seen one of the historic homes is being renovated.
Violated major building codes, safety codes.
Before it became so run down, it was the home of a man whose name some Joplin residents may recognize, Irish Johnny Copeland. He started his boxing career in 1960 as a member of the Joplin Boys Club. By 1970, Copeland turned professional, with the lightweight earning 26 knockouts during his pro career. The boxer is a figure longtime Joplin residents know well.
It was pretty exciting to have someone live across the street from us, that was becoming very popular. We used to go and watch him up at Memorial Hall.
Copeland passed away in 2004. The team renovating his former residence hopes to make it a memorabilia home, showcasing Copeland and his career. The boxer's family has been involved in the process, touring the home and even offering up memorabilia such as practice gloves and boxing shorts.
Those involved with the development of the site say it's meaningful to be able to help honor Copeland and his legacy in the boxer's hometown.
I feel the presence of Johnny's energy throughout the process, throughout doing everything, throughout all the obstacles that we ran into. He really wanted the house done. And it's a spiritual feeling that me and him, we felt throughout the journey about his legacy to be remembered. Because that's all he wanted, was people to remember him.
Keeping Johnny Copeland's legacy alive for future generations is important to everyone involved.
This is, at the end of the day, putting a footprint, if not anything, putting a footprint for the younger generation to see and remember.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, the renovation team is in the review process with the National Historical Registry to try to establish Copeland's home as a landmark. If it is, they plan to turn the home into a public museum honoring Copeland. Well, coming up, military life meets comedy in Fox's Going Dutch. And we'll see what happens when a Fox TV has a new military workplace comedy, Going Dutch, that made its debut earlier this evening here on Fox 14, led by Dennis Leary. As the series makes its introduction, Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a preview with the cast.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fox's Going Dutch stars Dennis Leary, Taylor Mishak, and Danny Pudi. The series follows a U.S. Army colonel reassigned to the least important base in the world in the Netherlands. Leary says the comedy really kicks in when he finds out who the commanding officer is.
You're not just dealing with a guy, in the case of my character, who's sort of like by the book, war guy who's in love with war, who gets sent to this really relaxed base, but is being run by his daughter, who he hasn't spoken to really, during the course of her life.
The base is based on real places.
Well, this is based on a specific
on a real
base
one
that got closed down.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do all of the laundry for surrounding bases or surrounding military needs, and then they also will provide other services. In our case, it's cheese. We make a lot of cheese and bowling.
And
bowling.
Yeah.
Bowling.
And some black market activity.
The trio had this comedic dynamic down from day one.
Especially between you three. How quickly did you feel it clicked?
Well, the way I like to work, if I'm in control at all, is to include improvisation. And I don't mean just for the sake of it. I mean from character-based places. That's what we used to do on Rescue Me.
You need to bring the military back in, and you need to hold on to it for dear life.
We knew, obviously, Danny was capable of doing it, and his evidence had been seen on Community. I knew Taylor could improvise from the audition process, but when I walked in that first day, and I was like, little butterflies first day, and I look across the table, and she's totally locked in to Maggie.
Oh, I felt like this is great because I think we can keep arguing. Whatever's on the page, we got, and then we could just kind of keep going until someone yells, cut.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a tiny tin wreck giving itself a dust bath at the Cincinnati Zoo. How cute. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.